Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Football Podcast. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and we've got one more in us. That's right. One more mock draft before we say goodbye to draft season, as Derek Brown likes to spell it, SZN, which I already have said on Twitter. I'm outlawing the rest of the year. Nobody can say that anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. I have had it up to here with every fantasy analyst saying it's so-and-so. It's Ja'Cory Krusky Merritt Sizzin. It's this person Sizzin. Enough of it. It's old, it's tired, and so am I. So we got a great show for you today. The last mock draft here. We know this is the biggest draft weekend every single year, Labor Day weekend. We hope you're enjoying all of your Labor Day festivities. And, of course, joining me, D-Bro, Derek Brown, the king of bros, Pat Fitzmaurice, who's in a really good mood wearing his Packers jersey. I can't wait to see the Micah Parsons version that he's got. My goodness, Patty Cakes is in a great mood. And joining us, a very special guest, a man whose career in the acting world has spanned 5 decades. That's like him and Michael Caine. Well, you know, 80s, 90s, 2000s, the 10s, and the 20s, right? Yeah. I mean, that's 5 last time I checked. His name is Jerry O'Connell. You know him from obviously films like Jerry Maguire, Scream franchise. You know him from Stand By Me in my childhood. And he's a fellow loser Mets fan like me, which I also know. So I'm very happy to have you on the show today, Jerry.
Yeah, so exciting. I really, we got in touch with each other because I posted a photo of me at my daughter's volleyball game while I was drafting. And somebody here saw the little Fantasy Pros window on the side of my draft and said, like, looky here. Love Fantasy Pros. It's so funny. My Fantasy Pros story is so interesting. About 3 years ago, I'm actually new to Fantasy Pros. About 3 seasons ago, I was in the first round of the playoffs, and I believe I was playing Hunter Renfrow or somebody like that, and he had a bunch of terrible games, and I dropped him. And then the first round of the playoffs, the guy I was playing picked Hunter Renfrow up off of waivers and started him, and he had 30 points. And I lost, and I went, hey, congratulations, you beat me. I'm out of the playoffs. How did you know to play Hunt? How did you know? Like, I had Hunter and I had to drop him. How did you know? And he went, I just had a feeling. And I went, sorry, I'm cursing.
No, I love it.
I've had Hunter Renfrow. I played him 3 weeks. He gave me 2 points a game. I played him on that sleety Raiders-Browns game. You don't even remember it. But I was like, how did you know? And he said, Fantasy Pros told me to play him. And I went, what is Fantasy Pros? And he went, it's an app that I use to help me with my lineups. And I use power ranking. I just use the power rankings with my team. I don't really look at anything else. I look at, like, where am I in my league? Power rankings, making trades, trying to move up 1 point here, 1 point there. And not this last year, I came in second, but the year before, I still got money for coming in second. Year before, I finally won my fantasy league that I came in last place in every year. So I'm a real believer in Fantasy Pros. And when you asked me to come on for this mock draft, I'm going to use the tools that I get on Fantasy Pros and a little bit of I do have to say, when I use my own insight, that's where I actually lose points in the power rankings. That we all got to put our little special sauce on things, right, everybody?
That's tremendous, man. I mean, that look, if that's not a success story, I don't know what is. So again, like I always say, don't be a tool, use the tools. We're live on our Twitch today, twitch.tv/fantasypros, because this was a last minute thing, but you're probably watching it back on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 300,000 subscribers this year. and we could do it with your help. And again, Jerry is joining us here for the draft today. Super excited to have you here. And we have our draft spots here against PPR. We've got 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and of course, no kickers because we don't roll that way. We've got Pat in the 4 spot. We've got Debro in the 8 spot. I'm taking the turn at 12. And Jerry, you're picking at 105. Now, I do recall once upon a time you did play Frank Cushman in Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Is that too much pressure being the number 1 pick? Is that why you moved down to 5 in this draft today?
You know what's funny is I'm in count them 7. Yes, 7 leagues.
Right.
And I found myself, I'm always sort of in the middle of the pack. And so that's where I've been doing a lot of my mock drafts, all on Fantasy Pros, all on Draft Wizard. And that's where I'm around. So I actually, in 2 of my leagues, I was at the 4th pick. So that's typically where I pick. But Pat took that 4th spot, and Pat's on the clock.
All right. Well, Pat, you're on the clock. I'm going to let Jerry make his pick here.
Pat went with CD. Now listen, I like picking Cowboys. I think with Micah leaving Dallas, I think they're certainly not going to be a defensive-minded team any longer. They're going to be an offensive-minded team, and I find that teams with defenses tend to score a lot of points. Now, I'm looking at Justin Jefferson, Jameer, and Christian. I've really been staying away from Christian.
You and me both, my friend.
It's just too frightening. And by the way, I don't even know what PRP is or what it stands for, but I'm not sure if it works. Justin Jefferson, I do have to say, JJ is a quarterback. I don't know how he's going to do. You have him ranked pretty low, so I'm not sure he's going to have the best season. So I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs here with my 2nd pick, even though Fantasy Pros is telling me to pick up Justin at 70%. That's what the experts say. So I'm going with.
Look, you make your own decisions around here. These are just the suggestions. Let's go through the first couple picks. Jamar Chase at 101, Saquon at 102, then Bijan Robinson. Pat, you did take CeeDee Lamb at 104. Why him over the running back? Is it just the way you like the board where it comes back to you at this point?
Yeah, I just favor wide receiver a little bit over running back in the early rounds in leagues where you have to start 3 wide receivers. And
Pat, tell the truth. Yesterday, when that trade went down, did you take your shirt off and run around your house? Like, well, I know your kids are all at college now, so you had the house to yourself. I mean, walk me through the series of events there when that Micah Parsons trade happened.
One of my kids told me about the trade via text and didn't believe him at first, quickly checked Twitter, then immediately had to drive into downtown Chicago for a live draft and was just there driving the whole time listening to the reaction from angry Cowboys fans on Sirius XM NFL radio. And then when I parked, I had like 47 texts from all the Packers fans in my life. So it's a pretty interesting night.
You know, I do want to tell Pat should calm down a little bit. You still have to score points to win games as a Packers fan.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh,
Shots fired, D, bro.
I don't know if Mr. Reed is going to be lighting it up for you. So let's just temper expectations here. You know, congratulations.
Fair.
There you go. All right, Jerry, you're back up on the clock.
I am on the clock, and I got to say,
let me run through the rest of the first round here for the rest of the people here so they know what's going on. Justin Jefferson went after Jerry's pick of Gibbs, then McCaffrey. Debro, you took Malik Neighbors. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown goes, Nico Collins goes, then Derrick Henry went right before me, which I am irritated about. So I double tapped wide receiver, then Brian Thomas Jr. goes, Ashton Genty, then Puka Nacua, Devon Achane. 205, you took AJ Brown. So Debro, walk me through Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown, that stack of wide receivers to start while Jerry makes his pick on the clock.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't drafted a lot of Malik Neighbors, been a little bit worried about Russ this year, but I say the performance this preseason of Jackson Dart has to make you feel good. So we're eventually going to see him at some point this year. So the target upside is there. Wide receiver 1 overall upside is there. And then around the turn, I was hoping to get one of Genty or Achane, but they both went off the board. So I'll take a swing on AJ Brown. Like, I know the risk and stuff, but the Eagles, it's not a question of if, it's a question of how much. They are going to throw more this year. So at this point in the second round, double tapping wide receiver, yeah, I'll go with it.
All right, Jerry, you can make your pick at any time here.
I am going to pick
that.
Fantasy Pros has set this strategy for me in every one of my drafts. I'm taking Brock Bowers in the second round.
And he's falling everywhere. He fell to me in the CBS Experts draft.
And I got to say, I wanted to pick Chase Brown really bad. I'm a big Chase Brown fan, but when Brock is there in the second, it's just I've been really designing every draft I'm in Brock in the second. This whole
it's been crazy, like the fall, just because we see a couple times where all of a sudden we're seeing some different personnel in the field. Have we forgotten that Brock Bowers is the best tight end on the planet right now? D-Bro, in the CBS Experts draft, I had the 101 pick. He made it back to me in the second, third turn, and of course I'm going to take him there.
Wow.
So I ended up starting Ladd McConkey, Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers. D-Bro, that feels illegal to me.
That shouldn't happen in any world, in any reality. That should not be possible, Joe.
Especially in an experts league. It's like everybody from NFL Network and the CBS guys and all. I couldn't believe that Jake Seeley's in that league, and he was pissed. He's like, I can't believe he made it all the way back to you. All right, so Brock Bowers to Jerry. I know you're on the clock again. Let's get Pat's pick in. He took Bucky Irving at 209, then Josh Allen at 210, Lamar Jackson 211. Chase Brown finally does go off the board at 212. Kyron Williams at 301, then Trey McBride at 302, Ladd McConkey, and then T. Higgins. So Bucky and T. Higgins for you, Pat. Let's talk about those picks.
Jerry got me on Brock Bowers. I had designs on him. So I had to settle for Bucky Irving, but I was okay. I knew it was going to be one of those two when it got to Jerry. Bucky was fabulous by every metric last year. And in games where he had at least a 50% snap share, I think he averaged like 127 yards from scrimmage and scored 6 touchdowns in those 7 games. So feel pretty good about him anchoring the running back stable. And, T. Higgins coming back, if he can stay healthy, the Bengals are in a situation like those Dallas Cowboys where really good weapons in the passing game, not such a great defense on paper. So they're probably going to throw a lot and get into a lot of high wire slugfest type games.
All right. Great comment here.
Dude, I wouldn't have taken Brock if you weren't the one who set the expert percentage of who I should be taking. So it's sort of your fault. Let me just talk about my pick right there at 305. I went against a lot of your suggestions there. I had JSN, I had Garrett, I had Devonta Adams, all those guys. I'm too afraid to take any Rams until we see what is going on with Matthew Stafford's back. And I want Jaden Daniels, and I got to say, if I wait till the 4th for him, which is what you guys all suggest I do, sometimes I don't get him. And I think he's going to break all sort of rushing and passing records this year. So I reached a little bit and I went to go get Jaden.
I don't think, you know what, considering that Lamar and Josh Allen went there in the second round, it's not absurd. I mean, Jaden Daniels and terrific talent there. Team 6 right after it goes ahead and takes Tyreek Hill, then Terry McLaurin. Debro went tight end with George Kittle. We'll talk about that in a second here. Garrett Wilson goes off the board next, and JSN, James Cook, and then I double tapped RB. So I like this strategy down at the turn. Take the 2 best wide receivers on the board, and when it comes back to you, take the 2 best running backs on the board. So I took Omarion Hampton and Travion Henderson. Younger running backs. That's the key here. Yes, sure. Najee Harris is there. Ramondre Stevenson is there. Both those guys could certainly, at least share that workload. But at the same time, we're talking about the guys that I think over time end up winning out in terms of touches. I think it's going to be Hampton and Henderson. I think Henderson could have a huge breakout season. I think he could be the way Jahmyr Gibbs was a breakout a couple years ago. That's how good I think he could be. Joe Burrow goes next, then Devontae Adams. Boy, what a 4 stack of wide receivers. This team is Team 10. Nico, Puka, JSN, Devontae Adams, 0 RB strategy. Watch Team 10. Alvin Kamara, and then Debro on brand, Ken Walker. So talk about Kittle and Ken here for me, Debro.
Yeah, I'm heavy into paying up for tight end this year. If it's not one of the top 3, then I'm kicking the bucket down the road, and it's Andrews and Tucker Kraft. But where Kittle goes with this, I could have leaned into going more 0 RB, but with Kenneth Walker sitting on the board, I mean, I've been on brand the entire offseason. He's one of my guys. If he stays healthy, and I know it's a big if, in this rushing offense and with this type of talent and the offensive line, I think is going to play better this year. I mean, he's got top 5 to 8 running back upside this year. So taking him in the 4th round as my RB1, I'm here for it.
All right, Breece Hall goes next, Jalen Hurts. And Jerry, you did still end up with a wide receiver 1, Mike Evans. Every single year, people say, well, maybe this is the year Mike Evans doesn't do it, but
I know
no one's been right yet.
I know. I know a good friend of mine who works over at Barstool. His name is Stephen Che. He loves he's a huge Bucks fan, and he says it's a priority to get Mike Evans to break that record this season. I was looking at Tetairoa, McMillan. I do want to be a part of that Carolina offense. I think they're going to be getting a lot of points scored against them, and so therefore having to score a lot of points. But I just went with the vet. What do you want me to say? You were suggesting by about 10 percentage points.
Jerry, I almost took him in my pick, so I love it.
Yeah, I don't think it. And of course, Pat stuck it to you on the other end there because he took McMillan right after. So no chance that he makes it back to you here. So McMillan goes to Pat. Then Chuba Hubbard goes at 410, 411, Marvin Harrison Jr., then DJ Moore at the end of the fourth round, beginning of the fifth, 501, DK Metcalf, Cortland Sutton, again, always undervalued, Xavier Worthy, Devonta Smith. So, Patty, you got CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Ted McMillan, Devonta Smith, and Bucky Irving. This is your prototypical hero RB strategy for you.
Yes, sir. Win that race to the flex spots by getting there after 5 picks and now should be able to start a really good wide receiver in the flex. And, like I would have liked to get Mike Evans, although I would have been kind of overloaded with 2 Buccaneers in my first 4 picks. So not too heartbroken to get Tetairoa McMillan. Obviously, I'd love to get him a little later than that, maybe coming back in the 5th. But, Debro's with me on that. We want Tet in our drafts at all costs. So
me too.
Yeah. And then I just think the Eagles are going to throw more this year. Like they ran so pure last year and were leading in so many of their games that they had run-friendly game scripts all season. I don't know if they're going to be quite as run-friendly all the time this year.
Pat, guys, I do want to quickly apologize for my very unprofessional background here. My daughters just came home from high school, and this is the problem with drafting at home. You have a lot of distractions and everything. I moved down to my this is not a real, I'm not really in a crappy closet that's overstuffed. This is my backdrop. I do this just to let you know, like I come from like I'm not like super loaded and not like one of these guys who's got like money to throw around and doesn't care about fantasy. No, listen, this is I'm in my wife's closet here. I hope there's no panties.
I've got 2 teenage daughters. You don't have to explain anything to me, my friend. This is about as much space.
And I'm just riffing here because we paused the draft for a second. One of the hardest things about fantasy football is not like being on the clock and making choices. The hardest thing is finding a couple of hours, like usually in the evening, where no one is bothering you. And your family doesn't understand, like, when you're on the clock, like how much stress this is. You're stuck with this team for the rest of the season. And your family's like, didn't you already do a draft? Didn't you already do this? And it's like, no, I have 6 more leagues. Shut the up. Like, you don't understand. I don't have time for this. I don't care what you're eating for dinner. Leave me alone. Crazy,
get it, Jerry. Jerry is the voice of the people. Go ahead and make your pick. I don't want you to get auto pick, but that is the voice of the people.
Thank you so much.
The voice of the man.
We are back on the clock.
Who needs to make time for his fantasy football league.
Right now, I'm looking at Waddle, Pickens, or Connor here in my 5th pick. I'm going to go with Pickens because I'm too afraid of the quarterback situation in Miami. I'm so sorry to say that. I don't think it's lack of talent. It's just I get fearful watching Dolphins games, so I'm staying away from Waddle. Although he could be the wide receiver 1 there. Like, who knows what's going to happen with Tyreek?
I know that Debro likes that pick because he made a grunting sound when he took him. So I know for sure Debro approves that pick. Am I right, Derek?
Yes. I mean, he was at the top of my queue. So if you didn't do it, Jerry, he wasn't making it past me.
There you go. All right, let's recap the rest of these picks here after George Pickens. Terrific selection there, especially one less defensive player to stop people. Dak Prescott's going to go throw for 6,000 yards this year the way this team is going. Zay Flowers, Jamison Williams. Then, of course, Debro stays on brand with RJ Harvey, his dude. Some great value there in the 5th round, too. Got to say, I'm shocked he was still there. Jalen Waddle, James Conner, Rashee Rice. Again, I still think it's way too soon for Rice. I think everybody's got to start to come around to that notion. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the board here. Tight ends available, not super exciting. I already got my 2 RBs. I could go another RB. I could also potentially start to look at the quarterback position, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and go with the gut here. I'm going to go ahead and take Calvin Ridley, who, last year I think people forget had another 1,000-yard season, but it was just with Will Levis. I mean, Cam Ward is a huge upgrade. So I'm looking forward to that this year. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push forward here with a guy that I think, even though Emeka Egbuka is really intriguing to me, at some point I think it gets messy. So instead I'm going to reach a little bit for Ricky Pearsall, take him away from Derek Brown, make him upset. And I do believe he's going to be that go-to target in the
Wow.
wide receiver group for the 49ers.
Very nice.
I just want to say this is such
Go
a
ahead.
reach, especially on Fantasy Pros, because it wasn't even
it's gonna ding
Ricky
me.
Pearsall wasn't even on the 10-player board.
I guarantee you Pat wins this draft when it all shows up at the end. He's going to win this draft. I can tell you already.
You think?
So I think so. Emeka Egbuka, Sam Laporta, then Pat Mahomes. Debro, you just took Harvey. So what's the next pick for you?
I'm reloading at running back. This is why you can lean heavier into wide receivers, get the premium tight end because of the volume at the running backs that I just slammed for the last three rounds with Kenneth Walker, RJ Harvey, and Tony Pollard. I mean, come on, guys. Like, everybody's acting like we don't know Tajay Spears is going to be out for the beginning of the season. And we didn't see this last year. Tony Pollard's been a value I've been smashing the entire offseason, and he's still here.
Hey, it's still around. Tony Pollard's solid again, and Tajay Spears not being there to the start of the season doesn't give you that impending doom of somebody taking his job. So after Pollard, Kelsey, Swift, Jerry, you're up on the clock.
All right, here we go. I got 50 seconds to do this. I'm looking at you guys are all saying I should be taking Travis Hunter here at 43%, but I still have I have a running back and a wide receiver slot. I'm afraid I'm going to miss my running back target of Caleb Johnson here. And now that I just said it out loud, one of you guys is going to take it, but because I trust Fantasy Pros and I want to get a good grade from the computers after this, I'm going to be taking Travis Hunter. I also want to watch the Jaguars this season. I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
All right, so there you have it. So this pick is in, Travis Hunter. Hey, look, I think you did a great job here, Jerry. Whenever you go early tight end, it's tough because sometimes you're passing on the wide receiver talent, but then you went early tight end and early QB. That's tough to recover from.
I know.
I want to just give you some props here. I'm giving you some love, not because it's your first time on the show. But I think this is a really good job here by Jerry, taking Evans, Pickens, and Travis Hunter, making up ground. Debro, would you agree? That's about as good as you can get if you're going early tight end and early QB.
Oh, absolutely. And I've said it for the offseason, like Mike Evans should not be being drafted as a wide receiver too. So Jerry making up a ton of ground, which all three of these picks, and this is not just me blowing smoke, like all three of these picks are aiming all upside. If these guys stay healthy, if they hit at the top of the range of their outcomes, like Evans is a wide receiver 1, Pickens is a top 15 wide receiver, Hunter in that consolidated passing attack. All we need is for him to play 85% of the snaps, which can happen in that offense, and he is going to crush his ADP here. So no, Jerry made up a ton of ground where it's like if you're putting yourself in a hole going premium quarterback and premium tight end, but Jerry dug himself out, man.
He certainly did. Very impressed, Jerry.
I gotta say,
a man in 7 leagues.
I learned from the best. Thank you, Fantasy Pros. Let me just say, I don't know if you guys are being super nice to me because I'm a celebrity. I was in Jerry Maguire, whatever. But you did let Caleb Johnson come back to me here.
Well, Pat did, to be specific.
I was worried if Pat was going to stick the knife in, but he didn't. I
can't believe Pat didn't. So I don't know. He's still on the high from yesterday's trade.
I think you're treating me with kitten gloves here, but I'm going to be taking Caleb Johnson. I think in what's the offensive coordinator whose dad invented FedEx? Arthur
Smith.
Yeah, Arthur Smith. I think he's going to run Caleb a lot, and I think he's going to be the RB1.
I don't disagree, my friend. All right, let's go through Pat's picks here, because after Travis Hunter went to Jerry, then Isaiah Pacheco, Jerry Jeudy, David Montgomery, and then Baker Mayfield at 6-12. Roman Dunze begins the 7th round, then Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs.
You better be taking Matt Golden here. We're all eyes are on you now.
So, Pat, you have your hero RB, right? You took Bucky Irving, then 3 straight wide receivers to follow up with CD. Then you went back-to-back RB again. I think this is a great example of how to do that hero RB build. Let's talk about Pacheco and Jones for you.
Yeah, I just think Pacheco is back. Clearly wasn't the same last year after coming back from a broken leg in 2.5 months. And in what little we have seen from him in the preseason, I'm seeing the old Isaiah Pacheco. So feeling good about him in a powerful offense. And then, I'm a Packer fan who still thinks Aaron Jones is good. And I know he's going to share with Jordan Mason, but Jordan Mason doesn't catch passes. Aaron Jones does. I think he still has more value than Mason for that reason. And I just need to say to Jerry, the whole faith in Arthur Smith thing, that's a pretty thin branch you're going out on there, buddy.
It's probably something I read on your site. Easy, dude.
Easy. All right. So Caleb Johnson goes to Jerry next, and then Jacoby Myers at 706, Bo Nix at 707, Dak Prescott. Debro, I thought we had an agreement. We were going to wait as long as we can for QBs this year. 7th round here, you're going for Dak already. What changed your mind?
I mean, he's the NFC version of Joe Burrow now with that defense behind him and the two pass catchers. I mean, they're going to be top 5 in passing attempts. I look at him as almost the end of a tier. I bumped him up in ranks, and I don't think it's too aggressive, and especially where we're seeing quarterbacks like a lot of these guys going off. I didn't want to miss the QB run. I'm not against it, but I still think that I want to be very clear about this. We are only 1 year removed from him being the QB4 in fantasy points per game. And that's 100%. Top five upside all day.
Yeah. Look, tell me about his rushing ability, though.
Yep. I mean, he ran for over 200 yards. What was it? Not last year, but the year before. So I think he can get in that 300-yard range again if he's truly healthy this year. Jerry.
Well, he hasn't gotten to 300 since 2018, but 242 in 2023. And look, that offensive line isn't good, so he might have to run a little bit. I mean, might have to get out of the pocket.
And I'm just filling time because our draft is paused, but like, help me out here. Like, the new quarterback that we should be drafting are rushing quarterbacks, and fantasy is always changing. You know, I mean, remember we always used to do running backs the first 3 rounds. Like, rushing quarterbacks is what we're looking at, which is why Justin Fields is you guys are projecting is going to be a top 10 quarterback.
D-Bro, yeah, I mean, talk about like the difference between those guys at the top with the big rushing ability. And then look, there's a couple of these guys like May and Fields going later with rushing ability, but there's also guys like Dak, even Justin Herbert, who, let's not forget, you know, came into the league. Justin Herbert was able to break the rookie passing record, then followed up with a 5,000-yard year. I understand it's a different offense now, but you're adding Keenan Allen back in. You saw the emergence of Vlad McConkey, and what they've been missing is the guy for the yards after catch, which is what Eckler used to do, that I think Hampton can bring back to this offense and pad those stats of Herbert a little bit. D-Bro, talk about that for me.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a lot of guys that have the rushing upside this year. I mean, we talk about Knicks, Prescott, we could talk about where he lands in that, but Fields, I'm not telling anybody that he's a good passer, but when he has been on the field, he has been legit a locked-in top 10 option just because of the rushing, and you can get access to that. I mean, we saw what Baker Mayfield did. Like, there's so many guys in the NFL that are adding the rushing component to their games that it's raising the ceiling and the floor of these guys. And Brock Purdy, he ran for over 350. So, like, we're getting access to that at various points of the draft. And I know I'm kind of talking the table here, but, like, I could have gone with Purdy after this and still gotten access to that.
All right, love it. All right, we are halfway through the draft, which means I want to remind everybody watching on our Twitch, ESPN Fantasy Football Championship ring is up for grabs. Check it out right here. It's a good-looking ring, too. This heavyweight solid metal ring is built to turn heads and let your entire league know that the champ is here. So if you want to enter, just leave a comment below on our Twitch streams this week at twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to be 5 days a week to get all of the Twitch information. And as always, Twitch subscribers, when you subscribe to their Amazon Prime for $5, you get rid of those nasty commercials. You also get 1.5 times odds boost of winning this ring. So just as a thank you for your support, we're going to announce the winner right here next Tuesday on the show for our content draft. Maybe we can get Jerry to announce the draft order.
Yeah,
for
the jewelry exchange at Fantasy Pros.
There you go. There you go. That's what we're going to do. All right, so I am back up here at the 12 spot after Dak Prescott. Will go through these other picks. Jalen Warren goes, Justin Fields goes. So I'm going to just wait on QB and take care of that. I'm going to die on this hill, and it's fine if I do. There's a couple running backs here, Jordan Mason and Travis Etienne, that I still think have a lot to offer. I know Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is another one too, but this is a PPR league. So the first pick I'm going to make here is going to be Matthew Golden when it comes back, because just despite Pat Fitzmaurice,
hate to see it.
You know what?
It's just all mean, year,
Pat,
Joey.
All year, Pat, you keep knocking my guy, my favorite guy at Texas last year. The man balled out one of the best football games, forget college, forget pro, football games, period, last year. And I don't think he gets enough credit or enough love from you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take him. And then it becomes which running back.
Also take him because you'll be able to trade him with Pat for probably Tetairoa and Bucky Irving.
But Jerry, you would think that, but he has been Mr. Negative about Matthew Golden, but he's running out of wide receivers in the Packers. Like, unless Michael Parsons is going to go out there and run some routes.
Offense to Pat. Who else is there to throw to there?
That's what I'm saying, Jerry. See,
I'm a known Romeo Dobbs believer. I'll put
oh boy.
I'll say it.
All right. Looking at the rest of this grouping here again, I'm going to throw a dart on this. And if Liam Cohen is exactly the guy I think he is, then I don't think it's Tanks Bigby. I don't think it's Bashal Tootin. I think it's Travis Etienne.
Wow.
Was
We're going to get
RB3.
2023 Travis Etienne. Okay.
Well, look, man, look what he did with Bucky Irving last year. It's the pass catching guy that we want. He's playing for a contract, Jerry, right? I think
absolutely.
Sometimes, you got to follow the money. And on top of that, sometimes you got to realize, like, just because a guy had a down year off injury last year, it doesn't mean he can't bounce back from it. And we give all the love in the world and everything is sunshine and rainbows and unicorns when it comes to Christian McCaffrey and guys like that. But what, we all hate Travis Etienne? I think it's crazy. And you're getting such a value here halfway through the draft. I'm going to take it. Mason was the other guy I was really thinking about, especially because Pat had Aaron Jones, but I don't want to be too mean in one round. So Travis Etienne, Juwan Jennings, Cam Scattaboo, another one of my favorites, Cooper Kupp. And then Debro took the other running back that I was looking at, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a.k.a. Bill Merritt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Bill here for a second. Debro, look, this feels like just a full-blown committee to me. Why is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt the guy that shines above this for you?
Well, I've pushed back against people having problem with the Bill hype because where were we drafting Brian Robinson Jr. before this? The touchdown ceiling is definitively there. We talked about this on Fantasy Draft Court a few days ago where it was like Washington Commanders last year were first in rushing attempts inside the 10-yard line. You take even Jane Daniels' volume out of that, they were still fifth in the NFL last year. So this guy has 8 to 10 touchdown upside. I don't see the committee where everybody talks about it. Everybody's like, all the Chris Rodriguez hype and hope. Now it's like, yeah, because Chris Rodriguez was involved in this offense last year. He's the reason why they got rid of Brian Robinson. I have a hard time believing that. So I'm believing in Bill here. I believe in the touchdown upside, and Eckler is going to have his role in this offense. But also, can we not talk about Eckler as much as people have faith in him? 2 concussions last year, another year older, and Deebo Samuel is coming for those short area targets. So even Eckler's upside in this offense is capped where Bill's is not. He could score 10 to 12 touchdowns this year in that offense.
Wow.
Jerry, you're getting some love from the audience here too. Rock Candy said, "Oh, hey, it's Jerry. I love sliders back in the day." And then Jerry gets it, the constant struggle between family time and fantasy time. See,
just leave me alone for these 2 weeks. Get a life, family. Get a life. Leave me alone.
Jerry,
I don't ask for anything.
Found your home.
I don't do drugs. I don't cheat. I don't. I'm not with hookers. Like I asked for like a couple fantasy drafts. Leave me alone.
Jerry, I'm so
sorry
glad
to get wrong, but it's true. I can say whatever I want, right?
No, I'm so glad you're here. I think you're the voice of the people today. That's what you are. After Krosky Merritt, Godwin goes, Pittman goes, and then Jerry, I know you're on the clock. You took Jordan Mason. Excellent pick there. I'm going to let you make your pick, and I'll come back to you for the analysis. Pat, you took Zach Charbonnet, then Jordan Addison went, Joe Mixon, Josh Downs at 812, Tyrone Tracy at 901, then 902, Khalil Shakir, J.K. Dobbins. Pat, you came back with Drake May. Thanks, Pat. So I guess we're even now. But Pat, you're doing a great job here of building out this wide receiver room and then building out the RB depth. Charbonnet, another guy that if something happens to Ken Walker, and inevitably
just to pause the draft, will you just pause it? Thanks.
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead, Pat. Talk to me about Zach Charbonnet and then the Drake May selection too.
Yeah, I think Charbonnet is a lot like Jerry's pick right before of Jordan Mason. I think guys who are sort of the 1B in a backfield that's probably going to have a lot of success. And I'm excited about what the Clint Kubiak / Rick Dennison running scheme is going to do, especially with getting Gray Zabel in the first round, who already looks like he's going to be one of the best interior blocking, run blocking interior linemen in the league. And they've got two fullbacks on the roster. Like they want to run the rock.
What's the guy?
Robbie Oots. Yes. They are 270-pound fullback. So they want to run the ball, and like that scheme has had historical success dating back to like Denver in the late 90s. So I'm excited about that. And then Drake May, I mean, he's been a flag plant for me all offseason. Joe, I think he's going to run for 800 yards this year.
Oh, music to my ears, Pat.
Joey, as a Pats fan, loves and hates to hear it.
Well, I understand it because the O-line is still very much a work in progress. But, it is what it is here. Look, nothing can be worse than the last couple of years of the Patriots offense. It's so abysmal. No playmakers. And giving him Travion Henderson, let's see if Stephon Diggs looks really sharp to me in camp from everything that I've seen. Guy looks terrific. So I'm cautiously optimistic about that. Jerry, we restarted the draft here. You're on the clock. You just took Jordan Mason and Caleb Johnson. So you've got a pretty stout RB room. I might have to recount what I said before, D-Bro. Jerry might finish top 3 here when the grades are done.
Listen, a reason why I took Jordan Mason, and this comes from stuff that I read on Fantasy Pros, I have a feeling that he could be the RB1 at some point in Minneapolis. I mean, like, no offense to Aaron Jones, but he's a little older. He's got senior in his name. He could get injured, which is another reason why I think Charbonnet is also a great pick. We all know, and we don't root for injuries. We certainly do not, but we all know that Kenneth Walker is going to miss some time, and Charbonnet is going to be scoring some points. I'm faced with a little bit of an issue. Speaking of older running backs, I'm looking at you. The experts are telling me to pick Javonte Williams at 26%. Underneath that, Keon Coleman. I'm staying away from all those wide receivers in Buffalo. Way down, I'm looking at Braylon Allen, but he's at only 5%, so I think he'll come to me in the next round. I'm going to take Javonte Williams, even though I prefer Jaden Blue here in Dallas. I'm taking Javonte.
Surprised you didn't go wide receiver there. There's a couple other names on the board. I thought maybe you goes that route. But again, you got Brock Bowers, so it's like having a fourth wide receiver.
I just don't want to touch any of those Buffalo wide receivers. I don't know who's going to be wide receiver one there. Nice. And after watching Hard Knocks, it was such a boring season. I don't want any of those wide receivers.
Thank you, Jerry. I said that the other day here on Twitch. I said I miss the days where it was 8 balls of cocaine and guys getting arrested and things.
Yes.
That was Hard Knocks.
Arrested, people getting cut, people crying. Coach wants you to bring your playbook. What's going on? Remember who was the fantasy icon? Giovanni Bernard riding up in a Honda Odyssey. Honda Odyssey got everything you got. Come on, Hard Knocks, pick it up.
Bro, let me tell you something. It was basically guys getting ice cream and riding horses. That was basically
and going around on scooters. Get out of here.
No, not happening. Not happening at all. All right, let's go ahead and make some more selections here after Javonte Williams, Austin Eckler, Christian Kirk, Darnell Mooney, and then actually that's your pick, D-Bro. Let's talk about Darnell Mooney in your selection before we get to the next couple.
Well, looking at how I've built this team so far, I've got a awesome running back room, the 4 RBs that I have right now, and really it was just kind of, okay, wide receiver 3 is going to be a hodgepodge. I'm just kind of filling it on a weekly basis. So Darnell Mooney, he's one of the guys I'm looking at, but now in the next few rounds, I'm looking at trying to catch up with wide receiver. So I will go with the steady target volume of Darnell Mooney and backing it up with Keenan Allen here with the guy that, I mean, we believe in Justin Herbert and this offense. Keenan Allen might be old and boring, but he had no issues earning targets with the Bears last year, and he should be able to do that, at least to kind of figuring out what my wide receiver 3 room looks like.
Don't disagree. All right, Ramondre Stevenson at 909, Tank Bigsby at 910, then Brian Robinson. I took Braylon Allen. He was never making it back to you, Jerry. Sorry. And then Mark Andrews at 1001. So again, I go on and on about Mark Andrews. Pat disagrees. And if you want to see Fantasy Court, go take a look at it. Me and that beautiful, as they called me, Timu Hamilton on the show. Wig. By the way,
dude.
Let me tell you something. One of our D-Gens, you know, the D-Gens league that we're in with a bunch of our listeners. Yeah. One of them immediately after that show changed their name to Timu Hamilton in our league. And I was like, this is awesome. Well done. Well done. All right. So
I thought we had terrorists stopping all you.
I know, right? So Mark Andrews goes, tight end run happens here. TJ Hawkinson, then Harris, Najee, that is, Rashad White, D-Bro takes Keenan Allen, Jaden Reed, then Evan Ingram. So 3 tight ends go in the 10th round. Jerry, you're on the clock for, you don't have to worry about tight end, that's for sure. You got 15 seconds.
Look who came back to me, Keon Coleman. Now I've got a great wide receiver and a great running back on my bench, and I'm taking Keon.
Well, Pat is a Keon guy, so I don't think he's too happy about that, Pat.
No, I would have taken Keon Coleman. I wanted him.
There you go.
Well, the experts were telling me to take him at 42%, and I really do whatever is that top player on Fantasy Pros. I just I believe in all of your abilities.
Oh, look at you, this guy. Pat, you're on the clock at 10:09 here. Where are you going to pivot now that Keon just got sniped from you?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say I, for one, was all in favor of seeing Ed Oliver ride a horse. So
okay,
I was good with that.
That was entertaining. Not from the horse's perspective. I felt terrible.
Probably not. Probably
that horse.
Yeah. What about Coach I mean, look, I know Coach had some skin cancer, but like a half hour of him putting on sunblock. Come on,
It
Hard
was a
Knocks.
little long, Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm with you, dude. It was very.
Oh.
It was the same flavor as the ice cream that they were going to get.
Pat has a pick here. Here's someone interesting. You were always, speaking of the Bills, you guys were always telling me to pick Ray Davis. Can you tell me why that was, and did that have anything to do with James Cook not signing?
I mean, I just think he's a good player. But like he has actually slid a little bit for me as far as the backup running backs, just because I think Ty Johnson is not going anywhere. And Ty Johnson actually led all running backs in air yards last year. Like they like playing him on third down. I mean, they just have this mantra with their skill guys, everyone eats. And it's true. They play all three of those guys. So I'm kind of shying away from Bills running backs this year, just because I think it's going to be a true 3-man affair there.
Wow. Somebody also, Pat, you have 30 seconds until you pick, but tell me about Judkins. Is he going to play any snaps this season? Because he's always there and around the 11th round.
And is he going to play them in the NFL or in college, Pat?
Yeah.
At this point. What do you think, Pat?
That's a good question. I think they're going to sign him eventually. And it's hard to expect him to do anything the first month and a half of the season after missing all of camp. But then again, these things can get settled pretty quickly. So this late, I think he's a decent value.
I just don't know the details. Did he miss camp completely? Did he show up? Was he walking around?
Yeah, he was there for mini camp. I don't think he was at training.
Not at all for training camp. Yep.
Yeah.
Bummer. I love a Browns.
I'm not drafting him, period,
game.
at this point. I'm not drafting him at all. He's off my draft board.
He's off mine
worried.
too.
Yeah.
I don't think he contributes this year. Keon Coleman goes to Jerry, then Tyler Warren to Pat. Great value there. David Njoku, Tajee Spears, Marvin Mims. Then 11th round starts Tucker Kraft. Tight ends are flying here in the last round. So everybody, round 10, that's when you get your tight ends. Brandon Ayuk, Quinshon Judkins, then Luther Burden. So Pat, talk about Warren and Burden for me while Jerry makes his pick.
I'm just getting more and more excited about Warren, who was such a weapon at Penn State last year, and everyone has spoken so highly of the training camp he has had and the sort of player he is. He, I believe, in his first 2 preseason game played like all but 1 snap with the starters. Like he is not going to come off the field. And this is a guy who had 8 touchdown catches, 4 touchdown runs, and a touchdown pass last year at Penn State. Like he can do it in a variety of ways. And he's just a monster after the catch. Like I'm getting really excited about him. And that's the reason I have no interest in Josh Downs. Like I think he is going to just steal a large percentage of Josh Downs' targets this year.
And look at you, Jerry. You got the entire Dallas backfield, Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue. See, you had your cake and you ate it too, Jerry, at the end of the day.
You know, I got to tell you, Rashid Shaheed was up there, and what with the quarterback situation at the Saints, I can't draft any Saints. I'm so sorry, Saints fans. And to me, I look for rookies with an upside. You know, he could be the RB1 down there. You just don't know. So I'm a gambler. I do it for the juice, and so I took Jaden Blue there.
Well, I got to get you on the Betting Pro show then. That's where.
I love it. I love Betting Pros too. I love. You got to keep up with it though, man. Your lines are always changing. It's really tricky. You got to always.
Yeah, that's why we do it. Get you the best line you possibly can at BP. All right, Tootin goes next. Then Nick Chubb, Debro. You took Jaden Higgins. Let's talk about when you think the Jaden Higgins rocket ship takes off this season.
I mean, it's going to be about week 4, week 5. I'm not worried about Xavier Hutchinson. I liked him as a prospect. The other part about it is I know, Joe, you're sitting at the turn, and I wasn't going to let you get him because I knew he wasn't probably going to come back. Am I lying? Tell me he wasn't top of your queue.
He was in the queue. He wasn't at the top, but he was in the queue. He was definitely in the queue.
Knew it.
All right.
And
okay, sorry. Go
ahead. No, for my next selection, I was just going to say we've been talking about 8 balls so much. I mean, I'm an OG cokehead, so I got to get Jalen Coker here, baby.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
One day at a time. There you go. He means that just for the audience watching, he was the guy last year telling us about Jalen Coker in the NFL draft because he was a small time wide receiver from a small university, and he called himself a quote unquote cokehead. Bro's only real addiction is energy drinks. Everybody knows that.
All right. No, I just wanted to make sure we weren't ruining our lives and all that.
The energy drinks. Oh, well, I mean, he might be. It's an absurd amount of energy.
Caffeine is needed. Caffeine is needed.
I don't know if that much caffeine is needed. Colston Loveland goes next, then Jaleel McLaughlin, Rashid Shaheed off the board. Then I took Cedric Tillman at 11-12. Pat, I told you Deontay Johnson wasn't going to make that team, baby. I knew it.
Right.
Demario Douglas at 12-01. Again, I want the guy playing the slot role in the Josh McDaniels offense. Just as simple as that. And maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see Efton Chisholm at some point, but not this year. Tyler Algier goes next. Trey Benson, Jake Ferguson, Jalen Coker to Debro, Jerome Ford, Ollie Gordon, who was also in my queue. I was hoping I would get him in that next round. I did not. Jerry, you're up on the clock here. 20 seconds. What do you have?
So I only have 4 wide receivers, so the computers are really telling me to pick a wide receiver here. I'm looking at Rashad, Kyle Williams from New England, and Trey Harris from the Chargers. I'm going to go with Rashad, although he's probably just going to sit on my bench.
There you go. Well, he'll play on the bye weeks, hopefully. Josh Palmer was out there, too, which is another one I think is intriguing from that Flyer standpoint. Pat, you're up here with the next pick at 12-09. You took Caleb Williams. You took 2 QBs. Why you got to do that, Pat? Why you got to keep drawing the board of QB so much? If you believe in Drake May, why are you taking Caleb Williams on?
Just in case, and when the schedule turns a little harder later on, I might want to pivot a week or two. And, Caleb has high upside. And I like getting him as more of a second quarterback, since I'm not sure if it's going to work with him and Ben Johnson. Johnson wants his quarterbacks to play on time, get the ball out quickly. And Caleb is kind of a wild stallion who likes to improvise and do things on the run. So we'll see if it works, but if it could work, it could work splendidly.
It's a really funny. I mean, you think of Jared Goff, and Jared Goff had been to a Super Bowl when Ben Johnson got a piece of him. It's how much fixing did Jared Goff need compared to how much fixing Caleb needs? It's going to be so interesting to see if it works.
Very.
So Caleb goes next. Then after Caleb, you had Ray Davis, Dylan Sampson. Actually, I thought for sure, Pat, that's where you were going with Sampson. I would have, if there was a poll up of who Pat's next pick was going to be, it was going to be Sampson, because I felt I had enough RBs, but I was shocked he didn't go there. Rico Dowdle, Isaac Orendo, Trey Harris, Zach Ertz, and then Adam Thielen back to the Minnesota Vikings. Pat, look at that. So at least in the first couple weeks, probably has some fantasy value.
I mean, he was wide receiver 13 last
sure.
year for a stretch down.
Gosh, he was.
Yeah.
He was so solid. He finished the last 4 weeks, let me tell you, wide receiver 7, wide receiver 6, going through the catches here. 5 catches in all 4 of the last games there. And then you're right, he did have a stretch there at the end where he went off. He had 4 touchdowns in his last 6 games.
And I'm allowed to make this joke as the oldest man on this Twitch thing.
No, I don't know.
Old man Thielen.
Yeah, he's really aging well and might have a little bit of an opening early in the season while Addison is suspended. And then he's kind of a nice handcuff type wide receiver in case anyone gets hurt.
There you go. All right. So Adam Thielen off the board. Jerry, 20 seconds. What do you got for us?
You know what? The computers here are telling me to take Kyle Williams from New England. This is the first time I'm really hearing about him, and I've done a lot of mock drafts on your site. Kyler's coming up second with 22%. You guys are all telling me I'm going to take Kyler and just put him on my bench. I think he was the QB 12 last season. So I don't know. Maybe I could trade him if somebody's QB goes down.
All right. After Kyler Murray goes, look, just take value, right? Something happens to Daniels too. You have a very good backup, a top 10 potential backup too.
There's Kyle Pitts. There he is.
Dallas Goedert.
Oh dear.
Dalton Kincaid goes, and then Debro 1308. Brock Purdy, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Jonnu Smith, Xavier Legette, and then I'm up for 2 picks here. Oh my goodness, so much value still on this board. As a part of it wants to take Palmer, but instead I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to play quarterback roulette here. I'm going to play matchups every week. I'm going to take Herbert, and I'm going to take some guy named Jared Goff, who's got a lot of weapons too. So you can wait to the last couple rounds and get your QBs, and you'll be okay, boys and girls. Don't worry. Uncle Joey's got you. Kyle Pitts finally off the board, as Jerry said, at 1402. And then Jordan Love goes next. CJ Stroud. Debro, you took Brashad Smith. You've been doing that a lot with your last picks. Why? Let's talk about it.
Because he's got upside, man. I mean, you look at this backfield and how they've pared it down. Isaiah Pacheco, I do not think is going to be a bell cow in this backfield. We already saw Brashard Smith getting run with the first team in week 3 of the preseason. I think he's got the Jarrett McKinnon role locked up. And if Pacheco, who runs hard and injuries come with that, he could be their workhorse at some point this season.
There you go. Next pick up here is after Brashad Smith, Kyle Williams, Kyle Monangai. The Kyles go back to back. Then Jerry gets Josh Palmer. Very nice pick there at the end.
Very nice.
And I'm sorry, the draft just ended. Pat, who was your last selection here before we call things out?
Chris Rodriguez.
Chris Rodriguez.
Okay.
Excellent
Well,
last pick too.
Pat, you can pick up Romeo on waivers. I almost picked him up just to spite you.
All right,
Oh,
the
gosh.
results are in. A- for me. Let's take a look where the guys finished here at the end of the day.
You called it out, Joe. You called it out.
I called it out. Oh, look at this. Pat Fitzmaurice won. I said Jerry would
who's
be
one and
up at the
two.
top 5. Look at that. Pat and Jerry showing you how to do it. And what's so great about this is they showed you, which I got to tell you, Jerry, and again, I'm not blowing sunshine. I'm not blowing smoke. It's really tough to make tight end early and QB early work. I think you laid out the blueprint for people here. It's a really good roster. Pat was 1. I was 3. D-Bro, I don't see you. Where are you? You're all the way down at 7. That's tough there, Jerry, what do you think about here and this finish? You think it was kind to you, the Fantasy Pros draft grade
I think
here?
you guys let me get Caleb Johnson. I think you guys let him slide to me. You were being nice to the celebrity
that on
guest
Pat.
that was here. I'm not sure I would have gotten him when I gotten him. You know, I got to say, it was just doing all of the Draft Wizard, Fantasy Pros mock drafts. It kept showing me take Brock in the 2nd if he comes to you, and take Jaden if he comes to you in the 3rd. And it's funny, a few weeks ago, Jaden was actually dropping down to the 4th, and I wasn't able to get him. And you don't want to reach for someone in the 3rd round, especially if you're giving up like a Chase Brown or something. I mean, this is where you lose seasons, you know? So I was really pleased with my draft. I have Jaden in a number of my leagues, and I really do think he is going to have a record-breaking season, even though he's the 3rd quarterback going off the board, you know?
Well, let's take a look at your team here, because I think it was, like I said, an outstanding blueprint for those people who are trying to say, okay, how do I make it work if I want to go early in those positions? Because sometimes you have to just price and force. Brock Bowers makes it back to you there. He was going at the turn 2 weeks ago. Now he's not. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. People are going to regret it. Jerry's got Jaden Daniels at QB, Jahmyr Gibbs at running back, along with Caleb Johnson. The wide receivers, Mike Evans, George Pickens, Travis Hunter, Brock Bowers at tight end, Jordan Mason at the flex. He's got the entire Cowboys backfield with Javonte and Jaden Blue. He's got Kyler Murray, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer. So one of those guys, hopefully, Jerry, you're right about, Rashad Bateman. So if you had to put money on it, Jerry, is it Coleman? Is it Palmer? Who becomes the guy in Buffalo?
I guess Coleman, just based on draft position right now. You know, also I live in Los Angeles. I went to Chargers games. Palmer was, a little shaky as a receiver. You really couldn't consistently start him. And he had his opportunities and his chances. So I would say Keon Coleman will probably be coming out ahead there.
All right. Speaking of coming out ahead, Pat Fitzmaurice, the top dog here in today's draft, is
Congrats.
as predicted. I had a feeling as this draft was going, I was like, Pat's really crushing this hero RB build. Drake May at QB, Bucky Irving as the big hero running back. Then Isaiah Pacheco was the 2, Lamb, Higgins, McMillan, and Tyler Warren, along with Devonta Smith as the flex. Aaron Jones, Zach Charbonnet, Caleb Williams, then Adam Thielen, Luther Burden, Chris Rodriguez. Pat, how'd you feel about this roster when you step away from it?
Pretty good about the first 10 rounds. I have not finished top 3 in a mock draft episode all off season. So good to go out with a bang. And
Congrats.
Thank you. I don't know if
it's just a mock though.
It is just
I love how Jerry takes you back down there.
Take it down.
Don't worry, Jerry. I'm not getting a big head. Okay. I don't know if I
Especially
stuck
after yesterday.
I don't know if I
Micah
stuck
Parsons
the landing in the end game. I mean, it didn't feel great getting 3 Bears and a Vikings and with my last 4 picks. But other than that, I thought for 10 rounds, things fell pretty well.
You can't draft with your heart. You got to draft with your head. If Fantasy Pros has taught us
True.
anything, you draft with your head, not your heart.
All right, D-Bro, a bit of both, I think. Drafting with your head and your heart, I always feel like. Dak Prescott, a QB, Ken Walker, RJ Harvey. This is like the quintessential D-Bro build, just putting this out there. I mean, like, these are like D-Bro's guys, quote unquote. Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen. Great double tap of the wide receivers. I don't know about Keenan as my 3. I like him more as a 4, but we'll see how he holds up. George Kittle at the tight end. That's probably why you have that issue there. Tony Pollard, Brock Purdy, Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt, Darnell Mooney, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Coker, and Brashard Smith. All right, D-Bro, how do you feel about this team here as you're looking back at it?
Well, to steal Jerry's quote, it's just a mock, boys. So, I mean, I would easily be winning this league. No, I mean, I love this team. I think I got dinged because the roulette wheel that I'm spinning with wide receiver 3 and projections and stuff, and honestly just shooting for upside and one of those guys emerging there. So I like the team. I feel like, especially like getting Kittle and the quarterbacks that I got, I feel like it's solid.
Yeah,
Right,
let me tell you.
95. So
Let me tell you what's really going to be exciting is when Jameis starts around week 3 or week 4. Whoo, Malik is going to have a 40-point, 50-point game. I can't wait. But you honestly need to wait for Jameis to start because I just a big reason why I can't draft Malik right now is I can't for 3 weeks watch Russell throwing to him. I'm so sorry, Giants fans. It's just how I feel.
yeah, I've been lower than
Debro thinks it's
consensus
going to
on
be
him.
Jackson Dart. That's what I think.
Yeah, I've been lower on Malik than consensus only because I am worried about the Russ quarterbacking kind of really hurting him. Because it's funny, everybody like oohs and ahs over all the clips from camp, but it's like it's all moon balls. Do y'all think he's throwing 40 moon balls a week? But I mean, for this exercise, I haven't drafted a lot of Malik. I wanted to go that direction this one.
All right, let's take a look at the Joey P roster here. Justin Herbert at quarterback, along with Amari Hampton, Travion Henderson, then Drake London, Brian Thomas Jr., Calvin Ridley, Mark Andrews, Ricky Pearsall. On the bench, Travis Etienne, Matthew Golden, Jared Goff, Braylon Allen, Demario Douglas, and Cedric Tillman. Jerry, since you're new around here, I'll let you break this down. What do you think of this roster? And you can shoot it straight to me.
I gotta say, I thought you reached for Pearsall a little bit.
Derek might disagree with you. But.
I think he would have been around. Listen, I do believe, again, I get all my research from your site, so you can blame yourselves. I do believe he is going to be the wide receiver 1 on a team that has a great quarterback and he's going to get the ball. So I think he should be valued there. I just think you could have gotten him around later. So I thought you reached a little bit based on all of your percentages and when I should be picking people. But you're taking a gamble, and that's what this. I mean, we're all gambling, aren't we?
That's what we're doing. Well, look, man, you beat me in the draft here, so obviously you know what you're talking about. Jerry finished second. Pat was number 1. I was 3.
And also, I should say, and also, I should say, I mean, we hate gun violence here at Fantasy Pros, but I mean, it's pretty cool his recovery and how he's come back.
Yeah,
talking about Pearsall at all.
Him and Brian Robinson Jr. What a strange locker room! It's like the living meme of the commando arms coming together at the same time.
I never thought about that. Absolutely,
isn't that strange? Like what the chances of that happening, and then the two guys ending up on the same team 2 years later? Very bizarre stuff there. But Jerry, I got to tell you, man, this is a tremendous fun for us to do this. And if anybody has a question about, like, there's very few things I feel like in this world that actually can bring us all together, have a good time, get us passionate, give us an hour or whatever of our lives to kind of just zone out and hang out and have a good time. It's football, and it's fantasy football.
Absolutely.
And you've proven that you are an absolute degenerate just like us. And I love that about you. That's so great.
Oh,
and
man,
I hope you do this with us next year too.
I am such a degenerate. I had an auction draft last night.
Yes.
The league I hate the most.
Go.
The league I hate the most. I hate these people. I don't even care if they hear me saying this. I hate them. Oh my gosh. And as a joke, they pick kickers, like every first pick that they have. It's so annoying. I'm like, people, I have a family. I'm trying to stay married. It took 4 hours to do it. But I do have to say, Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros, which I love, and I've given you enough plugs here. It was how can we use Fantasy Pros to our benefit in these stupid, useless auction drafts? Like, you give us the suggested amount, but we're really on our own with these auction drafts.
Well, everything when it comes to that, and I know Pat and I are in a bunch of these too, that, get your guys, be flexible, be prepared. That's what you can do. Like the values for, and I wish we could do more of that kind of content here, but it's tough because, like you said, those drafts take a long time. But the problem is, it's like, my advice to everybody is get the guys that move the needle, and then find the guys that are going at a discount. And if you do those things consistently, you will beat the other teams in those kind of formats. Because people will overspend on guys that don't move the needle.
Right.
And then they don't have enough to fill out the rest of the roster.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, I want to try and have a balanced team when I do an auction draft. So I take the DKs. I look for the Omeri, not the number 1 guys, the number 2 guys. You know what I'm saying? I look for the Devontas, the people you can sort of get a balanced sort of team. But I haven't won this auction draft league, so maybe
Jerry, next year you call me up. We'll plug in there. We'll get you. We owe you one now, so we'll hang out with you. We'll do this. And
all right, everybody. Hey, Pat, and congrats on Micah. Yeah, you still got to score though.
Jerry, besides
Romeo's available on waivers. Pick him up.
Jerry, besides doing a million football drafts, what else you got going on? I know you're on with the Barstool guys. You're hanging out all over the place. Like, what's Jerry O'Connell's September like besides watching all the football?
This is it. It's just saying I have nothing to plug. I'm not coming on here to plug. Follow me on Yelp. I leave Yelp reviews for restaurants that I like. Follow me on Yelp.
Hey, that's good. That's doing the Lord's work right there, making sure you steer people away from bad restaurants. I think that's very important. Jerry O'Connell, everybody, joining us here on the show today. Again, shout out to him. Go follow him on social media, Mr. Jerry OC on the Twitter machine and everything else. Jerry, super fun to hang out with you today, man. Hey, we appreciate you being here. And
by the way,
being so kind to us.
I didn't get a discount code. I pay for all these things. I pay for fantasy and for fantasy pros and for betting pros. Invite me to one of the betting pros shows.
Well, I host those shows. So guess what, Jerry? I'm going to be bothering you next. So there you go.
Guys.
Jerry O'Connell hanging out with us. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for Jerry, Derek, and Pat. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.